Welcome back, and tonight I'm going to go ahead and make my version of Moo Shu pork. So we'll get started by preparing the rice. So I think I'm going to need about 2 cups of rice. I'm using Jasmine Rice. I'm going to measure it, I'm going to put it in my colander and rinse it off. 1, 2, I get it in bulk, and then I store it in a big container. I'm going to rinse this all off. Okay, and then I'm going to put it into the pot that I'm going to be cooking it in. The 2 cups of rice in the saucepan, and now I will put 4 cups of water. So when making rice, you always double the water. So if you have 2 cups of rice, you'd have 4 cups of water. And if you were going to do less, then you make the adjustments, or if you're going to do more. And I'm going to just set this aside. I'm not going to start cooking it yet until I start cooking my meat. So I'm just going to go ahead and cook my vegetables first. And I already washed up some Napa cabbage. I actually used it for another meal, and I did not need as much as I had. So I can use it for this one. I'm just going to cut it up pretty small. Nice and crunchy. Looks good. Cut it this way, and then maybe a little bit this way, so that it's going to shrink up also, so it'll be easy to go ahead and eat. And I'm just going to go ahead and put it in this bowl over here, and I'm going to continue. This is about the amount I have, and continue to cut this up. My next ingredient is carrots. So I'm going to take the peeler and take off the skin of the carrots. I think 2 carrots should be enough. Just using this bag that I had the Napa cabbage in is kind of a thing to put everything on. Most of it will go on there anyway. Okay. I'm going to rinse this off. Off the ends. And I'm going to just do my first carrot and see how much I have, because I don't want to end up doing too many. All right, so I have a cheese grater. There's this side that you normally use cheese on. I'm going to use this side for the carrots. And we'll see how much 1 carrot does. Okay, I'm just going to set that aside because I'll eat it or give it to my dogs because I don't want to grate my skin. Okay, so that's looks like it's pretty good, but I think maybe I'll just do 1 more carrot. So I'm going to do 1 more carrot, and then I'm going to set that aside in the bowl. And then I should have a good amount. Okay, so that's 2 carrots. And I'm going to clean the cutting board a little, and we'll go on to the next one. I'm going to wash up these mushrooms. And today I just ended up getting the regular white mushrooms that you can find very easily. You're supposed to really use shiitake mushrooms, but I did not find those, so I'm just going to substitute these white mushrooms. I'm just going to go ahead and cut these up. And I'm just going to do all these. You can kind of see. I'll let you know how much that is. Okay, so that's how much the mushrooms are. That's the quantity. And now onto the green onions. I'm going to go ahead and wash the green onions up. And I'm going to do a lot of green onions. All right. It's important to wash the green onions thoroughly, even if you're going to cook them. If you're going to eat them raw, for sure you must wash them very thoroughly. Very important. Okay, so I will just continue to wash these up, and then we will go to the cutting board and cut them up. One last rinse. Okay, and here we are at the cutting board. Grab these out of there. And I'm going to start by just cutting the ends off. And then just the little tips that have anything dried out on them. Okay, so I have all these green onions. I got the little ends off, and I'm going to probably cut half of them at a time. So I'm just going to line them all up. Okay, line it all up, and then start cutting. So the green onions will go into this meal last, because I'm going to want them to be cooked, but still slightly crunchy. So I'm going to put them in the bowl, set them aside, and this will be the last ingredient. Okay, so I will show you how many onions we have here. It's a nice generous amount. If you don't really want this many green onions, you don't need to use that many. You could use half that amount, but I really like it. It really brings out the flavor of everything. So I will start on my white onion shortly. Okay, so I'm just going to take the end of this white onion off. And I'm going to take the skin off. I'm going to rinse this off and my knife. Okay. Rinse this up. Hope everybody's having a good day. Okay, so I think I'm going to put this with my carrots so I don't have to get out another bowl. But when making this type of food, it's best to just have everything all pre-cut up and then lined up, and it's then ready to go in. I'm going to start cutting up the pork loin. And I have a bowl this size, and normally when I do a dinner, I go ahead and have the meat about here. So I don't know if everybody has a bowl that they use for doing food like that, but I like it. It's a good idea because it gives me a good idea of how much meat I actually need, because I have this big pork loin, and I don't know if I'm going to need all this, which if I don't, I'll put the rest in a Ziploc storage bag and make a different dinner out of it. So we will see what I end up needing. I'm going to just cut I'll show you, cut the end off here. I'm going to try to keep it standing straight up and down so that the juices don't necessarily get all over my counter. You can't really see. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to get that, and then I'm going to probably have to cut it this way a little, open it up a little, and then I'm going to put it onto my cutting board by just kind of taking this end. Okay, so I'm going to just start cutting this, and I'm going to dice it up. I'm just going to start by just getting the pieces going this way. And I'll cut off the majority of the fat. Actually, this doesn't look too bad. There's a little bit of fat, but it doesn't look too bad, which is nice because I actually got buy one, get one free on the pork loin, so that's pretty exciting. The other one I'll probably throw in the freezer. And I'm just going to set this aside for a sec just so I can show you how I'm going to dice this up. I'm going to get my bowl over here handy. And then I will continue to go ahead and dice it up but I'm not going to have you have to watch me dice every piece up. So what we're looking for is like bite-sized pieces. Do a few more. And the smaller you go, the faster it's going to cook too. So that's also an advantage. All right, so I'm going to continue to cut this up, and then I'll show you how much I have, and then we'll go from there. Before I go over to the stove, I got all my pork cooked here. I mean, not cooked, cut. I meant cut, so that's about how much I ended up with, which is what I wanted. Okay, so the other ingredient you're going to want is ginger, and I found this great product. I'm going to hold it up. I'm going to show you what it looks like inside. I'd open up a new one. I use a lot of it. I'm just going to kind of tilt this so you can see. So that is minced ginger, and it smells absolutely delicious, and I really got hooked on that because it has a unique flavor. I don't know, it tastes so good. I really like it a lot, and it saves a lot of time. And then I'm just going to go ahead and use minced garlic. Awesome. So we're going to go over to the stove and start. Oh, one more thing I want to let everybody know. So when you go out to eat, and you order Moo Shu pork, they bring you these little things called pancakes. I don't know how to make those. As I said in the beginning, this is my version of Moo Shu pork. So I end up just using tortillas. So I'm going to cook up some of those tortillas, and I do have a video on how to cook these store-bought raw tortillas, cooking tortillas, I think is the name of it, but you can check it out on my channel. So we will go over to the stove and start cooking. I've got the heat on the oven. And I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of oil. We're going to start by cooking the vegetables first, then we're going to set them aside, and then we're going to do the pork. So I put in some sunflower oil. Peanut oil would work also. That'd be actually probably pretty good. I don't have any peanut oil. And then I'm going to put a little bit of sesame seed oil. And I'm just going to let that heat up. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead. I have my rice on the stove, and I'm going to turn up the heat on the rice to high. As soon as it starts to boil, I'm going to reduce it to simmer and simmer it the rest of the way. So we will just wait for this to get going. Okay, so time to add the veggies. I'm going to start with the onions and the carrots. And then I'm going to put in a generous amount of garlic. I like a couple heaping tablespoons of garlic. And then my ginger. I like a generous amount of ginger as well. Got a little bit left over. Just like a little bit in the bottom of my old jar. Gotta put that in there. Okay. Oh, just let this brown a little. Okay, now it's time to add the mushrooms. Get these all stirred around. And in the meantime, what I've done is I have some frozen egg rolls. So I put those in my toaster oven. So those are going so that everything ends up being done at the same time. I'm going to continue to cook these mushrooms till they shrink down. So the mushrooms are shrinking down nicely. I'm going to put a little bit of soy sauce. Not a lot, because we're going to have other flavors that we want to be stronger. Okay, I thought I was recording. I added the Napa cabbage, and then I added the hoisin sauce, if that's how you pronounce it. If I mispronounced it, please comment below. And I'm going to let this cook for a little bit. I put a cover on it because I kind of want that Napa cabbage to steam a little bit. And as soon as that's done, I'm going to put everything into this pot, and I'm going to start cooking the pork. So as you can see, it's starting to really steam up here, which is good because I need to have that cabbage shrink down. It sure is smelling delicious, though. Okay, we'll just let it go, and I'm going to check on my rice. I'm going to stir it. That's back in the corner here. Stir my rice, and I'm going to reduce the heat to low on my rice so it can continue to cook. So I'm going to turn off the heat on this for right now, and I'm going to put this into a big pot. I'm going to start cooking my pork. I put the vegetables in this big saucepan, and I'm going to put it on low just to keep it warm. I'm going to add a little bit of oil. So I'm going to put in about half of this pork because I want to put a good brown on it, and if I get too much in at a time, it'll be hard to brown. Once I get this all browned, I'll put it in there, and I am going to add a little bit of soy sauce. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of onion powder and a little bit of garlic powder. Mix that up. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of sauce to this. Stir it up. That smells delicious. Okay, so I'm going to put this in with the veggies, and then I'm going to cook up the rest of the pork, and then we'll mix it all together. I went ahead and I put the rest of the meat in with the veggies. So this is all ready to go, and I turned off the heat on here, but it's still very hot. And now it's time to add our green onions. Stir this around, and I want the green onions to cook, but I don't want them to get overcooked. So I'm just going to go ahead and stir this up. It is still kind of boiling. And I'll kind of turn this pot so you can see how much as soon as I get things stirred up a little bit. Okay, and then my rice is also done. Well, that's, oops, I will show you. It's looking perfect. So I'll set that aside and cover it. And then this is still cooking up a bit. But it is pretty much, it just sit here. It is pretty much done. I'm going to go ahead and cover it. It is, I did turn it off. Everything's off, and I'm going to go ahead and make my tortillas because I don't have the pancakes like you have when you go out to eat for that. And then we will do the taste test. Time for the taste test, but first I want to show how much that made. That was like a big pot, okay? And then we have a lot of rice here. And actually my husband and son already took some out of here, so it's a nice amount of food, that's for sure. And it'll be nice because I will have leftovers for sure tomorrow. So I'm going to show you how I do my best to do this the correct way. When you're out to eat, sometimes the waitress actually will do this for you. Okay. And then I should have put this down first. You definitely don't want to use the entire bottle. This is a very strong and it is very sweet. But I was supposed to put that down on my wrapper first, but that's okay. I'll just do a little bit of this. And I'm going to wrap this up. And I will have some rice, but I know the rice already is delicious. It's Jasmine Rice. And if you've ever had Jasmine Rice, it's very good. So I'm going to go ahead and taste test my Moo Shu pork. Very, very good. It's like I went out to dinner. That's how good it is. Actually better than going out to dinner. Very, very good. The pork is extremely tender. I've tasted a little bit of the soy sauce. This sauce is very good when you cook it up. And the green onions is a nice complement. Very delicious. And the carrots, I like the way I did the carrots because they cooked up really fast and they really got spread through the dish, and they're very, very good. So, and that ginger that I told you about is excellent. You can really taste the ginger too. It's very good. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you try this sometime. Thank you for those of you who subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. And if you don't and you enjoy the content, I would love if you would subscribe to my channel. Have a wonderful evening, and thanks for watching.